Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today we're diving into the latest movie news from around the industry. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Pondex, for sponsoring this episode. You can check them out today at Pondex.com and use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off your purchase. Our first main topic, MoviePass is being resurrected. The Too Good to Be True theater ticket subscription service / venture capital nightmare may be returning in some form. Business Insider reports that original co-founder Stacy Spikes has purchased the company back. Spikes was granted ownership over MoviePass on Monday by a Southern District of New York bankruptcy court judge, with the purchase finalized on Wednesday. Spikes reportedly placed an undisclosed bid to the trustee handling the bankruptcy, the company's previous owner who purchased MoviePass in 2017 as it struggled to stay afloat. MoviePass imploded in incredible fashion back in 2019, thanks in part to a seemingly wildly unstable business model and subsequent and dramatic changes to that business model. These included price surging, removing popular movies from the app, even changing users' passwords to lock them out of the app. The pitch was genuinely astounding. Users originally only had to pay $7 a month to watch as many movies in theaters as they liked. When Helios and Matheson acquired MoviePass in 2017, the company launched a subscription tier for $10 a month to see one movie per day. Subscriber count skyrocketed from 20,000 to 100,000 in 2 days. At its peak, MoviePass boasted more than 3 million subscribers. Spikes, who said he raised concerns about the company's sustainability, was fired in 2018. Like all things too good to be true, this proved wildly unrealistic. After months of speculation, Helios and Matheson Analytics shut down MoviePass for good in September 2019. Weirdly, MoviePass began teasing some sort of comeback earlier this year with a new website with the MoviePass name and featuring a mysterious countdown. It's unclear if this is part of Spike's plan to revitalize the brand. It's possible Spikes may have reacquired MoviePass for a comparatively modest sum in the June 2020 bankruptcy auction for Helios and Matheson. Business Insider reports no competitive bids were made. The bankruptcy trustees had a minimum bid of $250,000, but Helios and Matheson listed the estimated value of MoviePass between $1 million and $10 million. In the years since MoviePass' demise, theater chains like AMC have started their own film-going subscription plans like AMC Stubs A-List. Hey, let us know in the comment section below what you think about MoviePass coming back. Despite all their problems, would you rejoin with them if you could? Let us know. And now, on to our second topic. Disney day and date releases. Disney isn't ruling out future day and date releases on Disney+. Hybrid releases aren't off the table. Disney may have ruled out day and date releases for the rest of its 2021 slate of movies, but the studio hasn't taken them off the table completely. Disney titles that have premiered in theaters and on Disney+ this year include Raya and the Last Dragon, Cruella, Jungle Cruise, Black Widow. However, the latter prompted a lawsuit from the movie's star, Scarlett Johansson, back in July. The actor claimed that the studio violated her contract with the movie's hybrid release. While COVID will be in the rearview mirror, God willing, I think change in consumer behavior will be more permanent. Disney CEO Bob Chapek added, "We're watching very carefully different types of movies to see how the different components of the demographics of that market come back." However, he did acknowledge that the window between movie releasing in theaters and arriving on Disney Plus was now much smaller. You'll notice that the films we are putting into the marketplace that are theatrical and our family films have a fairly short window. We're doing that so that we can get our films quicker to Disney Plus, but at the same time, see if the theatrical market can kick back into full gear as we prime the pump with these films. The next Disney movie to hit the big screen will be Encanto on November 24th. In the meantime, check out Disney Plus for all their latest content. And now, Our second topic is Squid Game Season 2 is a go. Squid Game writer and director Hwang Dong-hee confirmed today at a Los Angeles event honoring the show's first season that while he's currently in the planning process for the second season, it's still too early to say when the season will be produced. Quote, "There's been so much pressure, so much demand, and so much love for a second season, so I almost feel like you leave us no choice. But I will say there will indeed be a second season. It's in my head right now. I'm in the planning process currently. But I think it's too early to say when and how that's going to happen." Along with this announcement, Hwang confirmed that Seong Ji-hoon, the protagonist of the first season of Squid Game, played by I can't pronounce these names, would make a return in season 2 of the series. "I will promise you this, Ji-hoon will come back. He will do something for the world." The Korean survival drama Squid Game premiered on Netflix back in September. It quickly became the service's most popular original series, holding the #1 spot on Netflix's top 10 most popular shows and movies for 4 consecutive weeks. In response to the show's surge in popularity, Netflix made 3 movies directed by the director of Squid Game available to stream in the US last week. And now on to our final topic, Classic Rewind of First Blood, Rambo. When one thinks about Sylvester Stallone, 2 characters come to mind, Rocky and Rambo. However, while the underdog Puglis is the Italian stallion's best-loved screen alter ego during the 80s, Stallone is more strongly identified with the ex-Green Beret Vietnam vet. It wasn't in Rambo's initial outing that catapulted the character to iconic stature that would come later with Rambo First Blood Part 2, a testosterone and adrenaline cocktail that struck a chord with Cold War-weary moviegoers. The first installment, First Blood, while not precisely more thought-provoking, at least acknowledged that viewers might have functioning brains. The screenplay was smart enough to recognize that Rambo's appeal was not limited to his huge biceps and ability to mow down legions of bad guys with a really big gun. First Blood arrived in theaters in October 1982, some 7.5 years after the end of the Vietnam War. Veterans' rights were still a significant issue, although their prominence was waning. With its message about how returning soldiers had been marginalized by a divided country in desperate need of healing, First Blood sought to bring more to the table than the story of an unhinged survivalist lashing out at a bunch of close-minded bigots. Based on David Morrell's novel, screenplay by Michael Kozel, William Sackheim, and Stallone sought to mix politics with action. As established by the movie, Rambo wasn't merely the target of a group of small-minded local law enforcement officials, but the pawn of a system that created him that set him adrift in a larger sense of a society that had no use for him beyond the soulless business of warfare. In First Blood, Rambo was a victim. In the 3 sequels, he is redeemed and transformed into a hero. First Blood has a moral compass. The subsequent entries in the series do not. When the film opens, Rambo is passing through the town of Hope on a long journey that the end of which he cannot see. He's alone in the world and trying to reestablish himself in a country of people who prefer to look the other way when they see him coming. Hope's sheriff, Will Teasel, doesn't look the other way though. He confronts Rambo and offers him a lift to the town limits, hinting strongly that his kind aren't welcome in these peaceful parts. When Rambo politely declines Sheriff's suggestion that he make himself scarce, he finds himself under arrest. That's when things start to get ugly. Rambo is not well treated by the cops, but he escapes and heads off-road with the entire police department on his trail. When the skills prove to be too much for Sheriff's men, the military arrives, led by Rambo's former commander in Vietnam, Colonel Trotman, whose loyalties are divided between the men he trained and those seeking to bring him down. First Blood is directed by filmmaker Ted Kotcheff, whose career reached its peak with this production. Arguably, his greatest contribution to the movie is his ability to generate sympathy for the protagonist and to turn the antagonists into individuals whose we crave. By the time Rambo turns the tables on the cops and begins taking them down one by one, were thoroughly on his side, rooting for him to win each match and achieve victory over the sheriff. The best part of the movie is the sequence in the woods, in which the sheriff's posse is gradually whittled down by the ghost, who strikes suddenly then melts back into the greenery. It's a tense and effective piece of filmmaking. Once it's over, the odds get longer for Rambo, and while there are more battles to be fought, none have the same intensity. At the time of its release, First Blood was widely criticized for its bloodthirstiness. However, while it's undeniably violent and features its share of grisly moments, the body count is actually quite low. In fact, there's only one unquestionable death. 3 men possibly killed in a car crash are never confirmed to be dead. David Morrell, who wrote the novel, is on record as saying they died, but Chapek is non-committal. It is worth noting that the estimated number of deaths in First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, and 2008's Rambo are 67, 108, and 256 respectively. The most obvious non-death is that of Rambo. In the book, Trotman, his mentor, kills him. The ending in the movie deviated from that, the source material, because it was deemed to be too dark. At the time First Blood was made, there was no thought of sequels. But the filmmakers believed the audience had made too much of an emotional investment in the main character's survival for him to be eliminated, especially at the hands of Trotman, the only person he trusted. When the film made enough money to justify a continuation, the executives at Orion must have been delighted that Rambo had been allowed to live. It is perhaps too easy to dismiss First Blood on the basis of what the Rambo series would become, but this movie is significantly different and better than its sequels. The darker tone, somber subtext, and generally non-exploitative violence allow viewers to enjoy the film not only as an action thriller, but as something with a degree of intelligence and substance. Ultimately, people watch the film to see Rambo kick ass. That is, after all, what he's good at. But there's more here than meets the eye, and certainly more than was retained for First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, and 2008's Rambo. In our final segment, the Pondex Movie Night. Today's question is, if you could bring 5 movies to a desert island, which would they be? That's actually a good question. In no particular order. Number 1, Pulp Fiction. Number 2, Reservoir Dogs. Number 3 would have to be The Informant. Number 4, Major League. Number 5, National Treasure. And that is all we have for this episode of the Cinema Gold Show. Let us know your thoughts on the topics we covered by sending us a tweet at Cinema Gold Show or leaving a comment in the comment section below. If you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. And also, we are currently holding a raffle for a copy of the 4K edition of The Suicide Squad. You can enter for free using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.